Okay, Mary, we shall now look at the new play.
Right you are, Steve. Is this the third act or is it actually a new play?
Well, it is the third act really, but it takes place after the interval, and so you can think of it as a different or new play.
Okay then, that is the way I will think of it, because I don't mind telling you I just see a black hole whenever I think of it.
Yes, that is a strangely appropriate viewpoint, because although it deals with a word similar to the other acts, it is wholly different in its action.
Hypothecation. What is that all about then? Hey.
It is about hiding the transaction so that it does not appear on the balance sheet. That is, debt reclassified so that it does not appear as a cost and you seem to be more profitable to investors.
So hypothecation must be part of the very dark shadow banking system, I think.
And I think you would be right to think that, Mary. We should just first list the trail. It starts with hypothecation, which is like borrowing but without actually borrowing, then rehypothecation, and that is like outright stealing, and lastly hyperhypothecation, which is like hiding the action of stealing.
I am confused here, Steve. Everything has a word, but nothing sounds legal. It all sounds very dubious.
I cannot believe it either, Mary, or make much sense of it. We will have to have a talk with the writers.
I think I made that act parrot fashion, and then I won't have to think about the insanity of it all.
Let's just think about this. A transaction is made invisible to any potential investor in order to get the money from the investor, and then the debt is reapplied to the balance sheet. So the new investor's money now removes the original hidden debt. But of course, you still have no new money. It has just paid off a debt, so you still have to find more investors.
Okay, but that sounds like a Ponzi scheme to me.
Well, yes, Mary. The only difference is that there is an attempt to get to a level at which profit can be made.
Oh, only an attempt.
That is right. It is all taking a chance. In reality, they never get up to profitability because they are just pushing debt around. They just hide the debt from one investor to another.
Yes, they just make it worse.
This is a quagmire of shit because of the various other trading partners involved. No one can know what the trail is or may be. They just put their own debt into the pile.
Oh, Steve, the bankruptcy court, destitution, jail, and the soap on the shower floor.
So they are all hoping they can siphon some money out to their own pile, where it won't be swallowed up by an already existing debt.
The whole thing then rests on ignorance. I can see where the Den of Vipers term came from. But anyway, Steve, so long as all the people involved understand this is all just gambling and you can win or lose, they just have to be able to absorb losses.
That is right there, Mary. So long as the people involved can absorb the losses. The problem comes because the deals they are doing are so large that no one can pay the creditor, so to speak. There will be no profit made to absorb the losses with.
And so, this is what the trillions is all about then. No one can afford to pay for or afford to absorb the loss.
And so a nutshell is formed and our play fits neatly inside it. The quantitative easing cannot paper over the cracks in the house of banking, and nobody wants to believe it.
And so then, our next play will be a lottery-funded one and concern the £10 trillion hole in the vessel we like to call the pension pot.